Hey Big Shots, in today's video we're going to be talking about the biggest no-nos at growing a YouTube channel and exactly what you can do about it. Hey Big Shot, my name is Daniel and I help seasoned coaches and consultants that truly want to master the strategies of YouTube for their business so that they can get fresh leads and profits. So if this is your first time here and you're trying to grow your coaching business, be sure to subscribe down below because I release a new video just like this every Tuesday. So the first biggest no-no at growing your YouTube channel is focusing on the technical aspects over the human elements. I used to be a wedding videographer and I would hop into these wedding videography Facebook groups, and all of the wedding videographers, especially the new ones on there, they'd all talk about getting the next best camera or getting a new lens or, getting a new computer so they can edit faster. They were all super excited about, getting the next thing. The new camera would come out. They'd always buy a new camera that was coming out. But in the end, it really wouldn't grow their channel. They would look at these other bigger wedding videographers out there and they would just drool over their wedding videos. And these wedding videographers would be like, man, I wanna be like Brandon Rice Films or Ray Roman or Matt Johnson, these really popular wedding videographers that were out there. And they just looked at these films and they assumed that just by looking at it, that they would be like, man, they're so beautiful, they're so crisp, they're so amazing. That is what's selling the video to these brides, and that's why they have such a big wedding videography business. Well, to be honest, that is a myth. Even if you look at the biggest YouTube channels out there today, the reason they're popular isn't because they have such a nice camera. And some of the biggest YouTube creators out there, you're probably looking at their YouTube videos and thinking, man, they have such good videos. It really doesn't come down to the fact that they have a nice camera. It comes down to that they've worked years and years to improve this skill and to get better. I think for you, if you're really starting on YouTube or you're trying to grow a coaching business on YouTube, the first biggest element that you should worry about is you can start with just your iPhone or just a webcam. Right now I'm just shooting with my iPhone and I believe that I have a successful YouTube channel despite the fact that I can shoot on something like this. Human elements that you probably should really focus on, and like these wedding videographers that they should have focused on, is story-driven videos. Was actually pushing those wedding videographers forward, those really big ones, was the fact that they had story-driven videos. They had honed their skills so much with the cheap cameras that instead of focusing on all these pretty little pixels, instead of focusing on making an incredible story that, can create deep emotion and deep connection. And you need to do the same thing with your YouTube videos. And some great ways that you can include stories into your videos is thinking about your past experiences that you can share with your audience that relates to your content. Or maybe some crazy clients that you've worked with, or clients that have had successes that you can share in your videos. Talking about the specific subject that you're talking about in the video and relating it to a specific story that you've had or success in your business. Just like me right now, I just shared an experience from my past that has nothing to do with really growing on YouTube, but it's just an old experience I had with growing my business and noticing what people really focused on, what was wrong with growing their wedding videography business. Tip number 2, doing something that you shouldn't do rather than something that you care about. This is such a big no-no at growing your YouTube channel. If you guys have seen the video about how I got my first 1,000 subscribers, I'll link it right up here if you haven't seen that yet. That video goes into detail about how I set a goal for myself when I first started on YouTube to do 156 videos for an entire year. So just to give you some context to that, that's about 3 videos a week. And I was trying to basically make content that would grow myself as a filmmaker at that time. I burnt myself out completely. There was days where I was just like, I just need to put out a video because I have to put out a video because it's the 156 challenge and I have to have a video out. So as a coach or consultant, you probably feel a bit of an overwhelm in your business because of all the things that you have to do. You have to run your Facebook group, you have to deal with coaching calls with clients, you have to do all of that stuff, run your social media. And there's probably some weeks where you're just like, man, I do not have the time or I do not feel the creativity to come up with a YouTube video idea for today. And if you do feel that overwhelmed, guess what? That's normal. I experience that from time to time as well. But one thing that I've really learned is trying not to put out content that your audience isn't gonna see that you care about, because they will notice that if you're putting out content and they see that your heart's just not into it, like I mentioned in the last step, your audience is looking for the human element. They wanna see the transparency inside of you. They wanna see the real you. They don't wanna see a robotic you. There's 2 ways that you can actually overcome this from actually making content that you don't care about. And I can give you 2 examples right now. The first thing you need to do is you need to start batching your content. So basically for me is I batch all of my content. I make all of my videos on one day, and then I edit all my videos for the next 2 days or 3 days. It depends on how long it takes you to do. So basically schedule it out so you do it all in 1 week. So that way you can post it consistently throughout the month and you don't have to worry and stress about coming up with that content and getting it out there for your audience. And the second thing you can do if you're struggling to come up with content is getting some good video ideas out there. I have actually an entire video dedicated to this, if you want to check it out right here in the corner, that teaches you the step-by-step guide to actually finding lots and lots of video ideas for your videos, so that way you never have to stress every week when you come out with a new video. So check that out right now. So tip number 3 for the biggest no-no at growing on YouTube is having garbage titles and thumbnails. That is one of the #1 ways that I am getting people to get on my channel. If you spend so much time trying to make a quality video, no one is going to click on that video if you don't have an enticing title or an enticing thumbnail. If you really struggle with making good thumbnails, I'm gonna link a video right here that teaches you how to make attractive thumbnails for your YouTube channel in a free program called Canva. If you don't want to make one yourself, there's tons of paid options out there using something like Fiverr.com, where you can go to places like that and find people that will do it really cheaply for you to make really good quality thumbnails. Titles and thumbnails are so key to your success on YouTube because that is what's going to entice people to get into your videos. You got to get them to click. If you just grab a quick screen grab and just throw it up there, that's probably not the best way to actually get people to click on your video. Ask yourself, would you click on this video with this thumbnail? And if you're struggling with coming up with really good titles with a human element added to them, so basically ways to get that emotional connection to people to want to click on the video, I actually have a video which I'll link right up here that teaches you how to win that click on YouTube, so that way you can get more views on your videos. And the benefit of getting more views on your videos is that will lead more people to get on your email list, and then the benefit of that is that you can get more hot leads in your business. Okay, so focus on that. Really focus on making better titles and thumbnails. And don't be afraid to experiment with your thumbnails to see what's working and what's not. So the 4th biggest no-no at growing your YouTube channel is just focusing on optimizing your video. So just focusing on your tags, your title, and your description. Just focusing on that stuff alone is not going to actually grow your YouTube channel. I know, it's surprising. So one of the first things I actually teach in my beta program that I currently have called the Big Shot Accelerator, a lot of my clients think I'm gonna jump into getting them strategies to get seen on YouTube. But then I always tell them, okay, so if your video actually gets seen on YouTube and actually starts getting found, how are you going to retain that client? How are you gonna retain that viewer to keep them on your channel? You're not. That's the thing. And so I have a whole module that's focused on attraction. It basically teaches you how to make your content as attractive as possible so you can actually get that ideal viewer or that ideal client on your channel to actually subscribe to your channel, sign up to your email list, and get them on there, because that's your ultimate goal. If you have really poor structure on your YouTube videos as well, that's gonna like literally destroy your watch time on your channel, because people are gonna be like, where is this going? What is happening? So instead of focusing on just your titles, your tags, and your description, I would really start to focus on how can you create more of that human element, but also how can you actually talk to your target audience on your videos? How can you actually speak in their language so they know that when they come to the channel, that this channel is for them? So the last tip for the biggest no-no at starting on YouTube is basically not starting. I know that sounds surprising, but there's a lot of coaches and consultants that will sit there for months or even a couple years just trying to decide whether they're actually gonna jump into this YouTube game finally. Put this off for years. And they say that, man, I just haven't started yet because I just can't take that dive into doing it. Let me tell you a little secret about YouTube. It's not about virality. YouTube is a long game. It takes a while for you to build up that credibility and authority on here. So as soon as you start, no one's honestly gonna be watching your content. If you look back to my first few videos on my channel, I guarantee nobody remembers my first few videos. You know why? Because nobody was watching them at that time. And they're so terrible if you go back and watch them. The audio is terrible, the visuals are terrible, everything is terrible. I was just vlogging at the time too, and so it wasn't actually doing anything for my channel. So that's one of my biggest tips. You need to take the dive, just go and commit to it. Just start posting on your YouTube channel in the beginning without telling your friends or family or without telling anyone, just to get yourself comfortable getting in front of the camera. Then you can eventually tell your friends and family, and you can see how that goes. But I highly recommend just jump into it. For me on my channel, I've made a lot of mistakes, and during that process of making all those mistakes, I have actually grown a following because I've improved on those mistakes over time. And that's what it's gonna be like for everybody. You're not gonna be perfect at first. And you know, I don't expect you to be perfect. And actually, I don't even ever want you to be perfect, because we need to always add that human element to your videos rather than just having you be a robotic person that looks like everybody else on YouTube. So comment down below, Big Shots, which of these tips are you gonna stop doing on your channel? What are you gonna start doing to improve your YouTube channel so that way you can actually start getting some clear results? If you wanna see what I did when I got my first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, be sure to check out this video, which I'll link right here. That tells you the exact journey and process that I went to get my first 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Check that out, and I'll see you next time, Big Shots. And sorry, there's a bird up there. There's so many mosquitoes out here. Gosh, dang it. I'm stopping for a second.